Hey everybody, meteorologist Sarah Gannon here, going to take a quick update, a quick look at those latest forecast details for our system tonight into tomorrow. Probably one of our bigger winter storm systems here of this season, and of course similar to last year. Second half of the season, Mother Nature deciding to give us all that snowfall. So certainly looking to be a rather active night here for the area. Currently looking at all of that rainfall at this point in time, but I do want to run over what our alerts are here for the area. That, of course, having that rain here at this point in time, we are going to be looking at that transition to snow here tonight. So expecting some big impacts with that snow, that wind playing a big role tonight, tomorrow as well. So looking at some significant major travel impacts for the area here. And of course, we'll keep an eye on those slippery road conditions as well. So feel free to hop in the comments there on Facebook, and feel free to drop any questions, comments, concerns, anything like that. Hoping to get through this quick here and continue to give you guys those latest forecast updates. So hopefully everyone has been having a good week so far. Let me know your thoughts and if you're excited for the snow or you're just ready for spring to be here. So as we look at your alerts here, as I mentioned, that wind, snow, ice, ice not necessarily being a huge concern. However, I know something that MnDOT had talked about this evening was because of the rain happening, they couldn't necessarily pre-treat the roads like they typically would do with systems that look to bring that snowfall. So that might be a concern road-wise as we see that transition, as those temperatures drop, maybe some freezing there on those roads. And of course, going from rain to snow, there's always kind of that mixing period. I don't think it'll necessarily be a straight rain to snow. You kind of have that weird transition period where you get some of that freezing rain, that sleet maybe mixing in there. So definitely looking at the possibility of some maybe some very minor icing or of course slick conditions there on those roads. So our main concerns, our biggest travel impacts, are hazardous travel impacts, and those blizzard conditions that we're looking to see for the area tomorrow will be between about midnight and noon tomorrow. Those will be the biggest, the time that we'll see those greatest impacts for the area. So that morning commute looking to be quite a doozy here for the area. So hopefully you're able to try and adjust those travel plans if you're able to, but if you do have to be on those roads tomorrow, please do use some extra caution, be extra safe for tomorrow. As we look at future track radar, you can see they're still looking at a lot of that rain, some heavy rainfall moving along the Preston, Decorah area there, Highway 52. We've also seen some pockets of heavy rainfall moving through Rochester. But as those temperatures fall, as that cold front pulls through, we'll start to see that gradual changeover from that rain to that snow. So the Mankato area has been seeing that here the last hour or two, that gradual transition, pretty much full snow there now, full snow up in the Twin Cities metro area. Starting to see there that gradual transition for folks in the Goodhue County, Rice County, Steele County area. We'll start to see that moving towards Freeborn County, towards Mason City, and into Dodge County here probably in the next hour or two. So hopefully the graphics are looking okay. It's a little glitchy on my end, but hopefully everything is looking okay. I'll try to keep an eye on Facebook here if you guys have any comments or anything. Let me know. I'll keep an eye on that as I kind of bounce through our graphics here. But as you can see, a lot more snow starting to fill in as those cooler temperatures are making their way through the area. But this is a big system, the center of that low pressure system down towards the Kansas City area, and even further south looking at severe weather. They've been, southern parts of the country have been looking at some severe weather today. So here at home, we are looking to see that rain become snow. So very much a messy situation on the way for tomorrow. Again, because we are looking at heavy snowfall, we're looking at very strong winds in the area. We're looking at blowing and drifting snow to be a big concern. Whiteout conditions. National Weather Service issuing a blizzard warning for all of those counties highlighted in kind of that red-orange color. So this includes Olmsted County all the way into the I-35 corridor down towards Mason City, Charles City. So a very large portion of our viewing area. The only 2-3 counties not included in this blizzard warning for our local forecast area would be Houston County in Minnesota, and then Winneshiek and Alameda counties there in northern Iowa. So they are currently in a winter storm warning in the pink there for Houston County, and our 2 northern Iowa counties in a winter weather advisory. So greatest concerns, greatest impacts will happen in that blizzard warning. So that will take effect at 9 o'clock tonight, lasting through 3 p.m. on Wednesday, so through Wednesday afternoon. But I want to zoom out and just show you how big this system is. We're looking at blizzard warnings from central Nebraska towards Omaha, up here into southeast Minnesota, northeast Iowa, and then as far south as the Kansas City area there in Kansas and Missouri. So, but other winter weather related headlines up to the Twin Cities metro area, up to Duluth, Upper Peninsula there of Michigan. So a very big, impactful system. I do want to show you wind gusts because we are going to need to keep an eye on winds as that wind with that snowfall. We'll look to see some of those, that blowing and drifting snow in the area. So we'll look at winds gusting right now locally about 20 to 30 miles per hour, but you can see out towards St. James, Algona, looking at 43, 44 miles per hour. Spencer, Iowa at 54 miles per hour right now. We could be looking at gusts throughout tomorrow anywhere from, say, 40 to potentially as strong as 55 to 60 miles per hour. So almost like what we would get in like a severe thunderstorm, where we get those gusts upwards of 60 miles per hour. So that may be possible in the area tomorrow. So blowing and drifting snow will be a big concern. That low visibility, of course, perfect ingredients there for that blizzard warning. So that's something that if you do have to travel tomorrow, I'm really hoping you don't, hoping you guys can stay safe, stay at home, stay wherever you are, just kind of hunker down and just try and avoid being on those roads, because it will be pretty hazardous, I think. In town, maybe a little bit more manageable, but if you leave city limits and you're out more on those open, rural, open roads, it's going to be very tricky, very difficult to kind of navigate your typical roadways there. So as we continue moving forward, I want to time things out here with Future Track. Where, as I mentioned, we're already starting to see that changeover from that rain to that snow on our westernmost counties. So as we progress forward, I think closer to about midnight, starting to see that progression of change from rain to snow in the Mason City area, here in Rochester, up towards a good chunk of Wabasha County, Wabasha area, maybe getting towards Lake City as well. And then towards about 2 a.m., I think much more of the viewing area we'll see that change over from that rain to that snow. So I think by 4 a.m., pretty much everyone from the La Crosse area to Decorah to the northwest should be under full snow by that point. 6 a.m. as a lot of that morning commute really starts to get going, I think we'll be pretty much in full snow area-wide, but we'll be looking at some heavy snow during that morning commute. And again, you can keep an eye on those wind gusts throughout the morning as well there. In the corner there, we have that box labeled wind speeds. You can see we're going to be looking at those winds gusting upwards of 50 plus miles per hour, potentially getting towards that 60 mile per hour mark in the area. So that's what we'll continue to track throughout the morning. So some heavy snow is possible. I think the National Weather Service did mention we could be looking at the potential of seeing snowfall rates at times during the morning of 1+ inch up to an inch per hour of snowfall, so a very high snowfall rate. So again, heavy snow is expected, and of course with those winds as well, not looking to be a fun combination at all. So I think by the lunch hour we'll start to see that snowfall kind of gradually start to lighten up a little bit, but still snowing through that afternoon commute. So maybe if you're heading out later in the day, still looking at some trouble on those roads, certainly looking to be impacted. But I do think by about 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, depending on your location, we should be clearing up that snow. But again, because of how strong that wind will be continually into the evening hours, still looking at blowing and drifting snow and possibly even some reduced visibility due to that blowing snow. That will continue to remain a concern through those evening hours. Heading into Thursday, still a bit breezy as we get the day started there. I think we could still be looking at gusts up towards about 30, 35 miles per hour, but I do think those will gradually begin to lighten up as we head towards the afternoon. Things should be pretty quiet heading into Thursday, so some good news there. Big question though, of course, is how much snowfall will we see? Well, if we continue to stay on track with that expected changeover from that rain to snow, I think area-wide we could be looking at, this is kind of a wide range. I think we could be looking at anywhere from 2 to 8 inches, upwards of 8+ in some locations. I think for Wabasha, Rochester, Austin, Elbert Lee, Mankato areas, better confidence there of seeing at least 4 to 8 inches of snowfall. I think maybe we could even see some localized higher amounts of snowfall, especially kind of in that yellow area so far northern. I think maybe north of the Rochester area, still in Olmsted County, northern part of Dodge County, portions of Steele County into Rice, Goodhue County. I think potentially could be looking at upwards of 8 to 10 inches of snowfall, maybe some very localized isolated amounts higher than 10 inches. At that point, it might be city to city just very, very localized. The hard part though will be getting those accurate measurements because of all of that blowing and drifting. It'll be tricky to get those exact measurements for your location. So do try, I mean, if you do send in a snow total, do your best. It's always good to kind of get a level area, kind of try and get it a little bit protected, but not too much where we see more of that blowing and drifting being kind of potentially playing a role. And of course, with the blowing and drifting, a little trick too, if you kind of have like we have out on the weather patio, a little bit more of a protected area where we can get a good idea. Sometimes we just kind of measure around a few different spots that look pretty level, and sometimes if it's, we'll kind of take an average there. Something that you can do if you're looking to do some snow totals for the area tomorrow, depending on where you are. But I think areas south of Rochester, Austin, towards Preston, Cresco, Winona, south of I-90, I think we could be looking at some pretty sharp cutoffs. So I think areas south of I-90, we could go from, 8 inches of snow to, say 3 inches of snowfall, just kind of in a very short distance. So sharp cutoffs will certainly play a role south of the Rochester area into far northeast Iowa. When it comes to that travel, I'll kind of leave this on the screen here and I will check on the Facebook comments, see if there's anything here, if I can answer any questions. Wendy's glad she doesn't have to go anywhere tomorrow. Wendy, I'm with you. If only we didn't have to go anywhere. Someone's got to work and do the weather though. Tell the weather. Steve's glad that he moved to Florida. Wish I could be there too. It sounds a lot more relaxing than a big snowstorm. Diana says rain is getting thick in the Dodge Center area. Okay, that's good to know. Some heavy rain in the Dodge Center area. All right, let's talk about those travel impacts. So, of course, now here for this evening, we're seeing that rain gradually become snow. So still looking at those wet roads, that reduced visibility, of course, just from that rain. But as we head here into the overnight hours, we'll look to see that rain become snow. So heading into that morning commute for the area, we're looking at widespread snow-covered roads, heavy snowfall. Something I mentioned before was looking at some snowfall rates upwards of 1 inch possible per hour. So that will, I know our plows are awesome. Our plow drivers are fantastic here in the area, but when we get snowfall rates of 1 inch plus an hour, it's very hard to keep up with that. So anticipate there to be some snow-covered roads, some slick conditions, probably some slushiness happening underneath that layer of snow, but we'll see those strong winds. So we'll have whiteout blizzard conditions for the area throughout Wednesday morning, Wednesday afternoon. We'll see still those slick roads for that afternoon and evening commute. That snow will be ending Wednesday afternoon. However, that wind still will persist into the evening and Wednesday overnight hours. So we'll look to still see blowing and drifting snow a concern. Now, if you're living in town within city limits and you're just going down the street, or you're just staying in town, you may not notice as much those blowing and drifting conditions in the area, maybe not noticing as much of that reduced visibility. But if you're outside of town, if you have to go from one spot to another and you're outside of city limits, you'll really feel and see those big impacts. So again, if you try and limit or avoid traveling if you can, just to make sure everyone is safe and make sure that plows are able to get out there, do their jobs, help keep everything safe for all of us. So waking up tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. there, temperatures certainly a lot colder than what they were this morning. We'll see those temps in those 20s and those 30s, and of course, heavy snowfall happening there just in time for that morning commute. Wind chill values into those upper single digits, some lower teens, so certainly colder for the area, but a little fun surprise here as we look at that 7-day forecast. We're going from first alert day tonight and tomorrow, where we're looking at rain to snow, heavy snow on the way for tomorrow. We'll look to see 50s possible in the area by Monday and Tuesday. So a little bit of everything here, but it's springtime we're transitioning into springtime. It's March in the upper Midwest. We know we can get 40s and 50s in a couple days, and then also get a snowstorm all in the same week. And of course, 7-day forecast here very much reflecting that. So I will hop on the comments here and see if there's anything anyone has mentioned or brought up. Any questions? Eric asking about Thursday. Oh, hi, Megan. Thanks for watching. Thursday. I still think because we will have all that blowing and drifting snow a concern, that kind of takes a little bit of time to get all cleaned up. I think, Eric, on Thursday, conditions will be dry. We'll have some sunshine there. Temperatures seasonal in the 30s. So I think as a whole for the day, things are looking pretty good. Road condition wise, I think it will depend on where you are, maybe where you're going. If you live in town, I think things should get gradually cleaned up relatively quick throughout the day there on Thursday as we lose those strong winds. But if you are commuting, especially out through the countryside, may take a little bit more time past Thursday, but certainly anticipating to see some much improved conditions on those roads by Thursday. So I hope that answers your question. Connor's wondering when our last blizzard warning was. I have that stat for you. Fun fact. I wrote that down and I forgot to mention it earlier in our broadcast. We'll try and mention it here at 10 o'clock. The last time we had blizzard warnings here in southeast Minnesota, northeast Iowa, was actually right before Christmas in December of 22. So 2022, December, that system that we had come through December 22nd through the 24th. So I remember that Christmas we had blizzard warnings across parts of southeast Minnesota there. So definitely made us question, if we'd have Christmas or, family Christmas gatherings, or how that would play a role in all that travel and everything like that. So happen to have that stat handy for you. So December 22nd through the 24th of 2022 was the last time we had blizzard warnings. When will the plows come out on Highway 14? Good question, Morgan. I'm not sure, honestly. I usually on a typical snow system, they're usually out ahead of time, kind of doing some pre-treating, getting things ready to help, make work maybe a little bit easier, roads a little bit safer as we get that snow. But with the rain playing a role, I know that they weren't necessarily able to get out and pre-treat because the rain would just wash away that treatment. But I would think as we start to get some snow accumulating, I would think that those plows would start to be heading out to the road. So maybe if there is someone that maybe is a little bit more knowledgeable in that field can answer her question, would appreciate that big time. But I think, we got to wrap up here a little bit. Got to get working on our broadcast on our sister station, Fox 47. We are pre-recording that. We have the president's speech coming up here. So that's kind of playing a role in our timing of that broadcast. So I am going to wrap things up here, but definitely if you are joining a little bit later or have a question after I end this live stream, feel free to hop back in the comments, type it up, and I will keep an eye on that, and hopefully I can answer any questions that you guys may have. But please do stay safe out there. If you do have to travel, really hope you guys can stay home, stay hunkered down wherever it is that you are. Just be safe out there, stay warm, and if you're not loving the snow, not ready for it, we got 50s on the way for early next week. So I hope everyone has a great evening, a great Wednesday. A lot of kiddos getting the snow day tomorrow. School's getting closed. So hope everyone has a nice evening, wonderful Wednesday. Stay safe, stay warm.